Welcome. In front of me I have an OPPO A77 and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this product. So anyway, I just jump straight into it. The single seal right here. So we do have a case for the device. Okay, so there we go, that's everything we got in the box. Now, I was looking at the wattage of this charger and I was checking it on the tiny little writing. I didn't realize that it is on this side right over here, and a little bit of a bigger letter, so 33 watts, pretty good. Let's just pop the phone out of its little foil. So here we have it. It already has a pre-applied screen protector, plastic one, but still better than nothing. And we also have a case that comes included with the device. I'm gonna put it on right away. If I can squeeze it on there. There we go. Okay, so let's get straight into it. In a second you will see the display. Oh, there we go, with basically the bezels and all that stuff. So this is a 6.56 inch display with a resolution of 720 by 1612. So it is a little bit on the lower end, but it comes with 90 Hz refresh rate, so it should be a little bit smoother than what you might be used to. Though, okay, I think it is turned on by default. So that's pretty nice that it has 90 Hz, though I would like to see a little bit of a higher refresh rate, not refresh rate, a high resolution. So the display might look a little bit sharper. Now, with that being said, we also have a typical brightness of 480 nits, and I believe it peaks at 600. Comes with 84% screen to body ratio and 269 pixels per inch. So those are basically almost all the screen specs. Now the screen type right here is the LCD IPS display, so we won't be getting any kind of like super nice contrast levels, with like black levels being completely off like you do with AMOLED displays on or OLED displays on more expensive products. Now when we flip it over, we have a dual camera setup, which they still, even though they gave you dual camera setup, they still decided to include a shed camera. So we have a primary one, which is 48 megapixel f1.7 wide sensor, and then below that we have a 2 megapixel depth sensor, which is the shed camera. Now the depth sensor could be just completely gone. It most likely will not contribute to any kind of photo quality. It actually might do the exact opposite of it and make your photos look worse when you use a specific mode. Now primarily depth sensor is being used for the most part, at least from what I observed, in portrait mode. So when you use portrait, it tries to create a fake bokeh effect using the depth sensor, but because it's only at 2 megapixels, there's not enough data in it, so it creates a really bad halo effect where basically the subject is fully in focus, and then you have that halo, and then everything above it is just complete blur, just to try to recreate a bokeh effect of what normal DSLRs do by default. But obviously here it's trying to fake it, and it does it really poorly just because 2 megapixels won't be any good. Now, if you don't see that, then most likely the phone isn't even using the 2 megapixel depth sensor for portraits, which at that point I have no clue what it is using it at. So just test it out in your case. If you experience this kind of effect in your photos, just know that this is to do with this little sensor right here. And to basically fix that problem is to not use the portrait mode. And that's about it. Anyway, at the front we have an 8 megapixel wide sensor, and with those cameras can shoot at 1080p 30 frames, both front and back. Now, moving into the internals, we have a 5000 mAh battery with a nice 33 watt charger, which will boost this device power pretty quickly. So you will get about half of the battery, so 53% in 30 minutes. At least that's what they're advertising it, so that's pretty good. And in terms of the specs of like the processor right here, we have a Dimensity 810 and either 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, depending also on how much storage you picked. So 64 gigs of storage will come with 4 gigs of RAM, while 128 gigs of storage will come with 6 gigs of RAM, both of them on UFS 2.2 storage type. Now, while I'm talking about storage, I'm gonna actually take off the cover, grab a little SIM eject tool, and check out what we have to deal with for expandability with. So we have a either dual SIM tray or SIM NSD. So you can extend the storage further outside of that like 64 that you might have gotten, up to probably half a terabyte, so that's pretty nice. Now, let's see, anything else to mention? There's a couple things actually, which I didn't really think about. The build quality right here, we have plastic frame back and obviously glass front. We do have a headphone jack at the bottom, our Type-C charging port, speakers, and then we have our fingerprint sensor that doubles as a power button on our right side, and then volume rockers on the left side right below the SIM tray. And then at the top we just have a microphone. We don't have any kind of IR blast or anything like that. So yeah, that's basically it. Now, last thing is the price, and the price is about 160 euros. It says $260, though this is, I think conversion wise it's a little bit broken, so I believe this will be closer to $200. So for everybody who wonders. So there we go. Now for 200 bucks, I think this is a pretty decent device. So just to kind of point out a couple of things that add up to this price that I would say are good in terms of like what you get. That would be the 90 hertz display. So it will give you a nice smoothness, a decent battery size, along with a really good charger that comes included in the box. And outside of that, there's not much more. It is a relatively budget device, but these are primarily the things that stand out. The inclusion of the charger and the nicer display that technically, could be for the most part high resolution, but not have the high refresh rate. Objectively, at least in my opinion, I think the higher refresh rate will be a little bit more visible. I would like to see both of them, but if I have to pick in terms of how nice the device will feel, the refresh rate will have a bigger impact rather than the resolution. So there we go. So with that being said, if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.